Wow. So it's been forever. It's been a long, long time. And well, I've been in school and school has been a lot. So I'm currently in 400 level and someone somewhere told us it was chilling, but they lied. It's not been chilling at all. And then I'm preparing for some other things. So everything on top of everything has been a lot. I've really barely had time to sit down and talk to the camera. But hey, today I can. So thank God for that, right? Anyway, love you guys. Nice to see you again. Even though I don't know what you look like, but I'm sure it's nice to see you again. So last time out, we talked about how that we are on this earth to fulfill purpose, and how that our purpose is not just becoming rich or becoming successful in the world written, but it is to become like our creator, become like the original product, right? And so after that video, someone named Evidence asked the question. He was like, even though that video was a million years ago. Either way, he asked the question, what then is the consequence of not fulfilling that purpose, right? So first of all, what you need to know is that there is a baseline for everybody actually. And that baseline is having been born again. Like, you have to be born again. That's the number one baseline. If you're not born again, you end up in hellfire. It's the same old story you've always heard. And it makes sense because, I mean, you make products, right? And then some work and some don't, or some choose to work and some choose not to. Well, you have to dispose of those that don't work, right? And that's the way it is. It's not, we've said it before, sin is not a problem of good or bad, it's a problem of malfunction. You get, and then there is the opportunity for you now to work well, and you don't want to. Well, I can't help you. You made your choice. You are the one that chose. It's not that God is sending people, it's people that are choosing to go to hellfire. I don't know if you understand where that comes from. Either way, once you fulfill that parameter, then the question now comes that, because there are some Christians or some people who claim to have given their life to Christ who are not living that way, right? I mean, we know many of them. I used to be one of them and I'm still transitioning. But my point is that not fulfilling that purpose of becoming like Christ, not living the way he would want you to, what is the consequence for that? Which is what I really think Evidence is asking. Well, the consequence for that is, I don't know. Many people have said, hey, if you evangelize your crowns, there will be levels in heaven. And I really don't know. I've not studied that well to see this kind of thing. It has not been revealed to me, and hopefully it is. But what I do know is this, and what I think everyone can relate to is the consequence for not winning $1 million is losing $1 million. The consequence for not being the best version of yourself is not being the best version of yourself. The consequence for not fulfilling purpose is not fulfilling purpose. I think that consequence in itself is enough. It's really enough, really, if you come to think of it, that it's enough for gravity of the, or importance or weightiness of the issue. I don't know what I'm saying again, but you get my point, right? So we need to understand it as our purpose is that big. And why I'm saying is that when you see purpose as number one thing in life, then it changes your view on what losing it means. If you don't see it as number one thing, then of course, losing it, you begin to ask yourself, what really is at stake here? But when you begin to see that this is the number one thing, it's like you are a car, right? Your number one reason, your number one purpose is not to look fine, it's not to, smell good, it's not to, be classy, it's to move. And so if you don't move, other cars will look at you and be like, dude, you are a failure. You're not a failure. You get what I'm saying? The standard for judgment among cars is their primary function, which is to move. And that is the same thing with us. The standard for judgment amongst ourselves should not be, hey, who's the richest or who's the, smartest or most handsome. But the standard should be who is more like Christ, who is fulfilling that rudimentary purpose, right? I also think that the reason why fulfilling purpose might not be the most important thing to us is because we really do not believe God is a good God. I mean, think about it. No, seriously, think about it. So we're on our own in nothingness, and then this guy came and was like, hey, You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create people to worship me. And if they don't worship me, then I will just send them to hellfire. How does that make any sense? Like, if you knew that we're not allowed to choose or we will be punished for choosing something, then why did you give us free will in the first place? But what we need to understand is this. See, God is love. And out of that loving nature, He created creation. Yes. And in that loving nature, He decided to make man and make us. Because when you think of love, you think of selflessness. You don't think of something that just does itself. No. You think of something that wants to show that love. Love is expressive. It pours out itself, right? And so in the effort to pour out Himself, He made creation. And in pouring out Himself upon creation, He decided to make creation the best version of itself. And the best version of creation is creation that glorifies God. It's creation that reflects God, because God is good, God is pure, God is holy, God is wonderful. And any creation that reflects that is glorifying God, but it's also being the best version of itself. Let me put it this way. So when you were growing up in school, right, and then you were going to class, you know, if you were getting the best grades, you know, all those first position students, and you're always scoring best in class. Of course, at that point in time, you know, you're like, why is this guy the teacher's favorite, right? At the end of the day, that's him doing the best in class and looking like he wants to satisfy just the teacher, or he's just trying to please the people who will later on help him in life, because he will become a good student, he will become a bright student, and it will open him a lot of opportunities for him. Why? Because him making the teacher happy is at the same time securing his own future. It's not a contradictory thing. It's not like the teacher is trying to, you know, just get somebody to make him feel good. No. He's trying to help somebody's future, but in the future being helped, it is making the teacher feel good. It is not a, you know, negative. It is a positive feedback situation. Just understand it. Like, the best thing you can ever do with your life is to glorify God, because in glorifying God, you will find peace, you will find love, you will find happiness, you will find joy. And it seems like all these things I'm saying exist outside God, but they don't really. Like, they exist in counterfeit forms, and you can see it. It's practically everywhere. You see it in, you know, in the people we look up to, in the kind of lives we want to, and how incomplete they are when you really get there. So you know, yes, there is all these things that do help. They do help. You know, money helps. It does help, but it's not the real thing. It's not the real deal. The real deal is Jesus. That's just it. And this understanding has to come to us, whereby we see God, you know, as a good God. When we see God as a good God, when we see purpose as the most important thing in life, then He helps us to transition from that point. It's like you have a child, right? It's not like God who sat down and then He's just looking for people to worship Him, you know, and fulfill His own bidding. You know, it's not like that dark ruler or dark Vader or something. No, it's like you have a child, right? And then you've invested in that child. You've given your life for that child. You've put the best things and made that child, you know. So you are so mindful of the child, and then you want the best future for the child. You want the child to be happy, you know, grow up and have, you know, be successful, be grounded, be peaceful and whatnot. And then the child grows up and is like, you know what, I have the freedom to do anything I want to do. And then joins, you know, bad gangs and starts smoking or drinking and waste away their life. And no matter how real that freedom may be, the freedom is counterfeit. And I think that's what we miss. In the fight for freedom, we misunderstand the true meaning of freedom. Freedom is not just being able to do anything you want to do, but it's also being able to carry the consequences of anything you want to do. And so we must be able to understand that in Jesus, we have someone else carrying those consequences for us. And that's when we can truly be free. In terms of, and what I'm saying, it does not mean that we can do anything we want to do. But I'm saying the burden of life, the burden of purpose, the burden of any other thing doesn't rest on us. We still have to do our part and obey. But the burden of direction, most importantly, does not rest on us. We are looking to somebody. You understand? And that is not laziness, it's not lazy, but it's because we know that this person knows the way, and we don't. And so it's just the most sensible thing to follow someone who knows the way, for someone who actually created the way, than trying to live on our own in search of that freedom that ends in bad things and just sadness and sorrow and emptiness. It's just, I've tried it. It's not good. I'm telling you. So I hope that answered your question, Evidence. And thanks for watching this video. I hope I will be able to make more and more videos, but I'll try and release something every month. Adeoluwa is working on something too. So please get this out there if this blessed you and help you to realize the importance of your purpose and how God loves you and me too. So thanks for watching. Have a good day and remember to subscribe. We need it, and comment too. I love you and pray for me. I'll be praying for you.